decided to come to Mosaic. We'd had our eyes on it since it had started pretty much, but for various reasons, we just weren't able to attend. But in 2020, when everything moved to drive-in church, it was just kind of the perfect chance for us to try it out. And we loved the teaching and just how biblically based it was, and just the community that was there, and then the community it's invested in. So that's why we started trying it out.
Yeah, and I think we've stayed at Mosaic for very similar reasons. I mean, I think really appreciate and love like the authentic community and really depth of the community that's formed. I mean, I remember the early days of like Bible study in Slim's driveway, and just like the beauty and depth of those conversations. And then it continued like focus towards the neighborhoods that we all live in and are involved in. And then just like really neat and profound, humble leadership in the church has been really neat to see as well.
We started at Mosaic because we met both Malcolm and Slim at another church, Redeemer Presbyterian Church. And we left Redeemer at a certain point, but Slim later came back and contacted me and asked me if I was interested in helping to start a new church. I had a background with the PCA and as a church planter. So the Foleys and the Thompsons and ourselves were meeting at his home, and we actually came up and discussed the vision and the mission and the future vision of the church, and we've been with him ever since, and it's been a great journey. We've stayed because we love the people, we love the vision, we really feel a part of it. I think that Mosaic plays a real unique role in Central Texas, and its philosophy of ministry, the way it's grown, the way it's changed, has been fun and exciting. So.
Yeah, I feel like there's no other church like it in Mosaic, in Waco. When I was getting all kinds of stuff from people at different churches that was really quite racist, and they never acknowledged that there was a problem. And I was just puzzled as to why they didn't see what they were saying was wrong, you know. And I think Mosaic is the church that has been most closely aligned with the vision I have of what church is and how people should be together. I like the vision. I like the fact that they treat all people as equals. I like the fact that women are like not second-class citizens. I just think that Mosaic has a lot going for it, and I think it has a future. So that's why I stayed. That's why I came, because I am his wife. No, no, I really like, you know, Slim and Malcolm are great. So are Kristen and Desiree.
So why did we come to Mosaic? Well, we started coming during COVID, actually. We were at another church, and they weren't meeting. So I talked to a friend, and they invited us to come to the outdoor church. And from the first person we met, it was just a really warm welcome. And we could see that the pastor Slim and Malcolm really taught from the Bible, and that really attracted us to Mosaic.
I agree. I think the reason we came was because we were kind of looking for something different, a little bit more diversity, of course, biblical teachings. And I think it's just special that we have co-pastors and get to hear both of them regularly. Somebody once said that Sunday morning is the most segregated time of the week. And so to have a place like Mosaic to come and kind of feel like a safe haven, it just kind of feels like home. We chose to stay in Mosaic because really the genuine connections that we made. We've gone to some bigger churches in the past, and you just kind of feel like you're a visitor every week. But we've been able to make some great connections, our small group, and just, you know, we come in every Sunday, and it just feels like a warm welcome, and it just feels like home. Also, we love the outreach to East Waco, and
we love that that's a priority at this church.
I would mimic what Chidi said. Just forming the relationships that we've formed are really special to us, even people that no longer go to church here. And then again, also the outreach to the community, whether it's in a big way or a small way or a loud way. I think it's been a blessing to be a part of.
Happy birthday, Mosaic!
Happy birthday, Mosaic!
Feliz cumpleaños, Mosaic.
Why is 5 such a big deal? You can ask that question, like, isn't it just another year? Why is 5 so important? And I give you a couple reasons. One, I'm not the same person I am today as I was in 2019. I don't think you are either. In fact, I don't know, would you be friends with that person in 2019? I don't know. I don't know if I would. And so why is 5 important? I think just that amount of change, that's a big mile marker of how much change and growth you might have. But 2, this stat here, the estimates vary, but between 50 and 80% of new churches will close within their first 5 years. Between 50 and 80% of new churches will close within their first 5 years. And this is not just a generic stat. I know other church planners that it didn't happen. And you could say, what was that? What was behind that? I don't know, but we know it's 100% the Lord behind it, whether it's good or bad. And the fact that this is still in existence, this is a big deal. This is a big milestone for this church. In a sense, if you think of planting a tree, you're like, the first couple of years, is it going to take? Is it going to take? And so at 5, you're thinking, I think this thing will last. I think this thing will last. And so it's a big milestone that we want to celebrate. And we're thankful if this is your first Sunday that you get to celebrate it with us. We're glad you're here. Also, the typical church plant does not go over 100 attenders within the first 4 years. And so there's some things like this that are just kind of interesting to see how Mosaic has bucked some of the trends there. But it didn't start this way. We didn't launch large. We didn't start that way. We started, Mosaic started in our home. And here's me pitching the vision to some people. And we just started with a couple families, as Lawrence shared with you. And we shared a dream for a church that was intentionally multicultural, that was intentionally gospel-centered, and intentionally spirit-led. And like you, we were frustrated, as Chidi quoted there, that 11 o'clock on Sunday morning is still the most segregated hour in America. And so this is a crazy idea to plant a church. Why would we do this? This is too risky. But we had the option of we do nothing, and you as a church do nothing, and the church continues on that path. We continue on the path of having a gospel preached from segregated pulpits and pews. There's this great quote from Mark Demas that says, "In an increasingly diverse, painfully polarized, and cynical society is finding less credible the message of God's love for all people as proclaimed from segregated pulpits and pews." And so if we do nothing, we're going to continue down that segregated path. We do nothing, we're going to be a part of the problem. We do nothing, and we will lose our credibility as Christians in this world. And so this is one of the things that pushed us away and into what felt like a risky venture. And so we kicked off and had church. And you see the joy even in that picture there. And it has been a very joy-filled journey. We quickly outgrew our living room. We had kids ministry that was wonderful, but also just sheer chaos, as you might see there. Take them upstairs at our kids' bedroom and let's do the Jesus Storybook Bible, and then let them run amok. So we quickly outgrew our home, and we moved into the Bledsoe Miller Rec Center, which was just this gorgeous, gorgeous place. And we had our very first worship service at the Rec Center, and we thought we would be there at Bledsoe Miller for 5 years. We thought we would be there at this moment 5 years down the road, and we were there all of 2 months, which did not account for how small the parking lot was out there. And so we quickly outgrew Bledsoe Miller. So then we pivoted and moved to J.H. Hines, and we had our very first worship service at J.H. Hines. And we thought we would be there for 5 years. It was a wonderful space. It tied our worship to our mission so that we could work in the schools Monday to Saturday and then come to worship on Sunday. And it was just a wonderful place. We, again, really thought 5 years there. And still part of me longs to go back, right? And the other part of me that never wants to do the setup and take that again. But then COVID hit 6 months in. And the whole world shut down, including the church. And all along the way, but at this point in particular, there was a question, is this it? Is this church going to last, or do we just close up shop? And it is not just because of COVID, but there were some other things going on behind the scenes. We realized that we had a denomination, an ascending church, that didn't have the same vision that we had for Jesus and justice. And so we had that painful but good break from them. And so we adapted, and that seems to be kind of the theme of this church plant is something happens and we adapt, something happens and we pivot, and we just continue to keep adapting. And so COVID hit, and then we said, let's do house church. And so we all encourage you to go to your homes. And we went to our home and we filmed worship in our kitchen every Sunday, whether the internet worked or not, and everything was online, and we set it up there, and you can see it was wonderful, and it was terrible, it was sweet, it was hard, but you guys made the best of it with your home church styles, and some of y'all made rows of the way this is like the first Sunday, right? This is how everyone started the first Sunday. I'm committing, and then like by the fourth Sunday, they're like, I'll put you on the background while I do laundry or something. I get it. I was with you. And then we adapted because we realized that was tough. We were desperate to see people, and so then we started doing drive-in church. And look at that. Doesn't that seem wonderful? Drive-in church, someone sitting on concrete. And it was hard, but it was also amazing how sweet it was as well. I mean, it was just this beautiful time for us to gather together in a safe way that we could, and just realize that God's church finds a way to kind of continue to adapt and make it work. Some of y'all joyfully met in your cars and were able to just take in the sermons that were being broadcasted from the FM radio, like you're at a drive-in movie theater. They're projecting our music and our words into your cars. With this really rickety makeshift stage that I hate with a passion. Late Saturday nights were rough for me. But then it would rain, and the elements would force us back inside, and we'd be online again. And we're like, I guess this is it. And so we just continue to adapt until finally we came to the Myers Center, this place that you're at here now. What a joy it's been to just partner with Mission Waco to really lock arms, again, tie our worship with our mission and what we get to be a part of here. And this Mission Waco does some wonderful, beautiful work helping those experiencing homelessness. And at this Myers Center, I mean, I was just going back through some of these photos. I've been able to see so many baptisms and so many kids that have come through here. And adult baptism is just this joy of what we've been able to do here. Malcolm got ordained here. There's Micah Edmondson coming to preach at his service. What a wonderful thing. We've had some other speakers come. We had Jamar Tisby come and preach. We had also had our first female preacher, Christina Edmondson, come and preach here, and that was fantastic. We also had Beth Allison Barr, Caitlin Shess, many more. And all the while, there were people like Andreas. Andreas, are you here? He didn't know. He didn't know I was going to call him out. But it's not just Andreas. It's people like Andreas. He has always been behind the camera. He is always putting someone else front and center. And there are hundreds and hundreds of you guys that are like Andreas who have been volunteering and working and doing some amazing stuff. And one of the beauties of doing a church plant like this is sometimes in some established churches, it can feel like we'll leave that church stuff for the professionals. And what you guys have all been able to be a part of is you are contributing to God's mission and God's work, that you are finding ways to participate in what God is doing. And there's a beauty behind that. And so I thank you, and I thank all of you who've been part of that in countless hours. Those who are serving in the nursery right now, who don't even get to hear this 5-year recap, they are doing that now so that we can also worship. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And so you guys are the church. You guys are Mosaic. And why do we exist? We exist because we want to adore Christ, we want to apply the gospel, and we want to act with mercy and justice. And ever since the very first year, we've always been saying this is what we want to be known for. It's not just the sermon, it's not even the locations where we've just kind of reviewed. It's what are we doing in impacting our community. And so from very first Juneteenth, we're constantly in the community. From that one to the next Juneteenth and many more, trying to find out ways to be involved in our community. Doing the very first back to school bash, getting to really know our community well, to outreach events, to the ways that we are serving the schools. And Waco ISD was taking notice and said thank you and inviting us to do more and to be part of what they are doing. Our hearts have always bled for our community, and they still bleed for the community. And that's what continues to drive me, and I think our leadership team for the next 5 years. Yes, we've adapted and changed in 5 years, but our commitment to this mission has never changed, has never wavered. Those 5 years have laid the foundation. So now what will Mosaic become? Where will we be in the next 5 years? Where will we be in the next 10 and 50 years? What kind of impact could this church have? Now, you guys got to see a little bit of that impact last Sunday. We had so many baptisms. We had these beautiful baptisms. And you can just scroll through these. God is at work, and he is changing lives. And we also got to see our very first child take their very first communion, again, professing faith. And so if Mosaic is known for this, for Jesus and justice,